My friends, the world does not respond to what you say. It responds to what you are. It responds not to the noise of your lips, but to the movement of your inner being. There is a divine secret hidden in silence, a secret not taught in classrooms, but whispered through eternity. This is the power I want to speak to you about today. Say nothing and get everything. You see, silence is not absence, it is not emptiness. Silence is creation in its rawest form. Before the beginning there was silence, and from that stillness came light and form and life. Likewise in your life, it is in the stillness of your own mind that the seeds of your destiny are planted. You are not here to beg. You are not here to explain, to justify, or to chase. You are here to become, to imagine. And then to rest in the knowing that what you have imagined is already true. To speak is to disperse energy. But to remain silent, while inwardly assuming the state of the wish fulfilled, is to align yourself with power far greater than words. When you hold an image, a feeling, a conviction in your heart, and refuse to contradict it with your speech or doubt, you become the very magnet of the thing you desire. This is the silence that speaks, the stillness that moves mountains. This is not passive. It is not weak. It is focused creation. Many shout to be heard and are still ignored. But the one who communes with their inner world, who assumes the end and rests in the quiet confidence of fulfillment, they are heard by the universe. And the universe echoes back in form. Your world is a mirror. It reflects not what you ask for, but who you are being. And who you are being is determined not by the words on your tongue, but by the imaginations you harbor in silence. I tell you this if you can dare to assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled, and hold that assumption in quiet confidence. You need not explain yourself to anyone. The world will conform. Circumstances will shift. People will appear. Opportunities will unfold, not because you pleaded, but because you knew. So say nothing, and know, and imagine. Say nothing, and feel it real. The silence of inner certainty is louder than any declaration. It is the voice of God within you. Withdraw your energy from trying to make things happen out there. Instead, enter the secret place, the silence within, and see, hear, and feel what you desire is already yours. Then walk in the world as one who has already received. Speak little, trust much, radiate the state you have assumed, and you will see those who speak the least, but assume the most. For say nothing, get everything. For in the sacred silence of belief, all things are made new. Assume quietly, receive loudly. This is not a poetic phrase. It is a precise description of how reality bends to consciousness. There is a divine process at work in every human being, one that does not require noise, approval, or performance. It requires only the quiet assumption that what is desired is already true. In that quiet acceptance, unseen forces begin to stir. Life, in its infinite intelligence, responds not to what you say, but to what you embody in the secret chamber of your mind. The outer world, though vast and complex in appearance, is but the echo of the inner state. It is not separate, it is not random, it is not external to you in the way you've been taught. What you assume to be true about yourself and your world silently, consistently, and with feeling, will become the very substance of your lived experience. There is no effort greater than belief. There is no noise louder than conviction. To assume is to accept inwardly the identity, the outcome, the state of being that matches your deepest desire. And when that assumption is made in stillness and held with unwavering faith, the result must come forth. Not by probability, but by law. Most live by reaction. They wait for the world to give them permission to feel successful, loved, wealthy, or free. But those who understand the creative power of assumption reverse the process. They feel first, they imagine first. They assume the role inwardly and allow the world to conform. This reversal does not demand attention. It does not need to convince. It is private, sacred, and internal. In the silence of your being, you become. And when you become, reality follows. To assume quietly means to embody the end, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled without outward announcement. It is a deep inner knowing that transcends appearances and contradictions. It is the ability to move through the world with a secret smile, because you have already touched the unseen reality in consciousness. You do not need to explain it. You do not need to defend it. You simply walk in the spirit of the fulfilled desire. You carry the energy of one who already has it, not because of external proof, but because of internal knowing. That knowing creates resonance. That resonance moves people, events, time, and circumstance. It draws to you the reflections of what you believe you are. The louder you are inside, the less you must say outside. The deeper your assumption, the clearer the results. You are not creating with effort. You are selecting through identity. You are not chasing results. You are aligning with the unseen version of yourself that already possesses what you want. This is not a call to passivity. It is a call to mastery. The one who can assume the highest for themselves in silence has risen above the need for validation. They have tapped into the eternal law that governs all form. They have discovered that imagination is not fantasy. It is the first stage of reality, and when that imagined state is occupied fully, emotionally, and naturally, it sets in motion everything necessary for its external manifestation. Assuming quietly does not mean you ignore the world. It means you don't let the world dictate your identity. You are not blind to facts, but you are loyal to truth, your inner truth. You recognize that facts change, but the state you occupy determines what facts appear in your life. So you persist in the assumption, even when reality appears unchanged. You remain faithful to the feeling, knowing that persistence in being is more powerful than temporary evidence. This faith is not blind, it is visionary, it is creative. You assume not because you are foolish, but because you understand. You understand that all things proceed from the unseen to the seen. That assumption precedes expression, that what you hold as true within must become true without. You do not need to wait, because consciousness is the only true cause. You do not need to force, because force is the tool of doubt. Assumption is quiet confidence. It is the inner voice saying, I am, before the world echoes back you are. And then comes the reception, not in a whisper, but in clarity. The external world begins to shout what you have whispered internally. People begin to treat you according to your new self-concept. Opportunities present themselves in line with your inner shift. Circumstances begin to mirror your inner change. The effect becomes loud, public, visible. But the cause was always quiet, personal, unseen. This is the paradox of power. The more you control your inner state, the less you need to control the outer. The more silent your assumption, the louder your reception. This is not just personal development, it is metaphysical law. It is the creative engine behind every breakthrough, every transformation, every miracle dressed in ordinary form. When you live by assumption, you take responsibility not for what happens, but for what you are. You take your power back from conditions and place it where it has always belonged, within. You speak less and feel more. You analyze less and imagine more. You stop waiting and begin dwelling in the state of the one who has already received. And in doing so, you become a channel through which the unseen becomes seen. You may be overlooked at first. The world may not understand what has changed, but something in you has shifted. You no longer operate from need, but from possession. You no longer beg reality, you instruct it through the silent tones of being. What was once desire becomes identity, and what was once distant becomes now. To assume quietly is to accept that the unseen is more real than the seen. To receive loudly is to witness how faithfully the mirror of life reflects your private convictions. It is not a mystery to those who practice it. It is a way of life, a way of creation, a way of aligning with the source that speaks not in noise, but in knowing.